So we're going to jump right in, Rob. So give us a little bit about, where'd you grow up, and give us a little bit of background about you.
Well, I grew up in two places, in South Philadelphia and then South Florida.
Okay.
When I was a young man, my father was in the underworld. He was involved in illegal activity, and he did anything, gambling, drug dealing, whatever it was, con man, flim flam, whatever. And occasionally he killed people. So he just happened to get he caught a murder case, and when I was a young man, and they caught him and they gave him life in prison. The guy that he murdered, his family retaliated against mine and burnt our house down to the ground. And
What?
my sister perished in that fire. My older sister, Tara.
Holy shit!
So that's how I ended up living there, South Philadelphia. Then we lived in a little bit of Jersey for a while, and then finally, when I got older, we moved to South Florida. Kids, all that stuff was in the newspaper. Kids' parents wouldn't let their kids hang out with me. I wasn't allowed to go into people's houses. I mean, I was a fucking pariah,
Wait. All right. So hold on. So your father, your old man's mixed up with the wrong people. Some people take revenge.
No. He was the wrong people. He wasn't mixed up with them. He was the wrong people.
Got it. Okay. And then, somebody at some point took revenge, and then they decided to burn your house down, knowing his family was in there.
Mm-hmm. My father was in the jail trying to get bail. Now, back in the late 70s, early 80s, they used to give guys that were in on first-degree murder charges bail. They don't do that so much anymore. And it took them about 3 or 4 days to raise the money. It was about $150,000 back then. And this was like in the 79, 80. All right. So he ended up getting out. But while he was waiting to get out to raise the money, that person's family retaliated and burnt our row house down. And my sister perished in the fire. My mom saved my life.
Did they catch whoever did it or no?
Yeah, they caught them and they gave them a life sentence. And they're still in prison. From the last I probably received a letter about my mom got a letter maybe about 15, 16 years ago that the person was up for parole. And I wrote a letter, asking them to keep him.
Yeah. How old was your sister?
My sister was a couple years older than me. She was maybe about 3 years older than me when this happened. She was still a baby. She was about 7 years old, 8 years old.
Jesus Christ. So, I mean, how'd you recover? I mean, so at that point, your mother loses her house. Her husband's in jail. She loses a daughter. What happened next? What happened next?
Well, a series of events, basically. I got shuffled around a lot to family members, because my mom wasn't doing so well. She was left without her daughter and a husband. And now she was a single mom, basically. And she had no career or anything like that. She was a very young girl, my mother. My father was 20 years older than my mother. My father was already on wife number 2, child number 5. You know what I mean? So, or 6, actually 5, 6, 7, child number 7. So, I mean, it was just, he lived one of those lives, and I remember, like I said, just growing up and he was, my father was enamored with gangsters. He loved gangsters. He loved criminals. He rooted for the bad guys. And he wouldn't teach me things like baseball or anything like that. He would tell me to carry a baseball bat and a glove with me all the time. That way, if someone messed with me, I could beat them up with the bat, defend myself. But if a cop stopped me, hey, I'm just going to go play baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I growing up, I was told to have the glove,
like that.
Have the glove and the softball back there with you.
Yeah, and even in the back of the car, carried over. Always have a glove and a softball.
Yeah.
And just stuff like that. He taught me how to hide drugs. How not to talk to the police. How not to, you know what I mean? Like everything, he taught me everything you're probably not supposed to teach a kid. He taught me, how to, like no matter what happens, you never tell the cops nothing. I don't care the teacher. I don't care anybody sees you doing it. You fucking deny it to the end. And that was the lessons I got from him, and until my stepdad came around. And my stepdad was a major drug trafficker when he stepped into the scene. And my brother was born out of that marriage. And that was like my gift, you know, my little baby brother, because they took my sister from me. So now I got a baby brother and I got responsibility and I got someone I could boss around and someone I could take care of, like my sister used to do to me.
Yeah.
You know, so, and he was a major drug dealer, and he eventually got caught and they took everything from us, you know, and he used to hide drugs and money and guns and all kinds of shit in the house. And he would always teach me like the hiding